Well, hello there, my friend. It's me, Stu, here for you, and we are back. And today we are talking about the 6 most common types of membership sites. So, if you've been thinking that you are interested in potentially creating more recurring revenue in your business with a membership, then the creative juices might be flowing, and you might be thinking, well, what am I going to include in a membership? And that question right there stops so many people from actually moving forward because they don't have the clarity, first and foremost, around what type of membership are they looking to create. And there are many, many different types. So what I want to do here today is I want to simplify the process for you. Because in all of my years, literally, more than a decade plus, helping tens of thousands of entrepreneurs launch, grow, and scale highly profitable memberships, what I can tell you is that, yes, although there are so many different options of things that you can do and types of memberships that you can do, really it boils down to 6 core membership types. And once you get clarity around the 6 types, it begins to guide you because you'll immediately see, okay, for my market, for my audience, this type of membership is probably more relevant. Or, for the type of business that I want to run, this type of membership is probably more relevant. And it begins to make it easier for you in terms of knowing not only what type of membership, but therefore, what are you going to provide inside of that membership? So that's what I'm going to cover here today. Hello to everybody watching. Great to have you. Kelly, Haruka, thanks for jumping on. Okay, so before I unpack the 6 different types of membership models, I think one of the overarching high-level strategy things that I want you to be thinking about is this. Is this going to be a front-end membership or a back-end membership? And so what I want to do is I kind of want to define that a little bit for you because both have unique purposes in the business. A front-end membership, the purpose of it is really to cast the net really wide and to be able to bring a lot of people into your world. And not only that, but the real purpose of a front-end membership is that it gives people an introductory place to land, to learn more about you, what it is that you do, learn more about the topic, but more importantly, give them a place to be so that for those that want to go deeper and want to go into more advanced trainings or perhaps courses or high-level programs, they then have the avenue to do that. So a front-end membership, it's really about casting the net wide and being able to create a group of buyers, people who know, like, and trust you, and to be able to create a community of those people, right? A back-end membership, the purpose of that is totally different. The purpose of a back-end membership is to really go deep with those who have already had an experience with you. So a front-end membership is about creating that first experience with you. A back-end membership is really about supporting people who have already had an experience with you. And the purpose of a back-end membership, really, you'll see these come into play specifically after somebody has gone through a course, as an example, right? So they may have gone through 6, 8, 10 weeks of a course with you. And then at the end of it, you introduce a back-end membership that supports people in implementing what they've learned in the course. So a perfect example of this is Nicholas Wilton. So years ago, Nicholas reached out to me and he said, Stu, I need your help. And I said, okay. I said, well, what do you need help with? He said, well, I'm coming to the end of my course, and his was a long course. His was 12 weeks. So that's a long course, right? But he was coming to the end of it, and he was, I think, week number 10. And he said, I'm coming on to the end of the course, and people are starting to ask, like, what happens to the group after we're finished the course? And he said, and I'm getting these questions like, is the group still going to be around? How are we going to stay in touch? Like, are we going to be able to get support after this? Like, there were all these types of questions. And he said, and I know that I should theoretically launch a membership off the back of this, but He said, I don't have time. He's like, I'm on week 10 and, the course finishes in 2 weeks. So this was a perfect scenario for a backend membership. And the reason being is he has been with this group of people at that particular time. I think there was around roughly 200 people that had gone through his course training. And they were coming to the end of the course, and all those questions start bubbling up. And so that is a perfect sign for a backend membership, because the reality of it is that when we are learning in a course, we're learning what to do and we're learning how to do it. And for sure, there are going to be people who are going to be implementing during the course period, but inevitably, there is a very small percentage, very, very small percentage of people who are going to be able to implement everything that you've taught, right? In fact, I would dare to say that there is hardly ever going to be a single person who is going to implement everything that you teach in a course. Because what we need time to not only learn, but we need time to actually do, right? Learn and do, learn and do. And in a course, it's very intense in the focus around learning, but typically there's not enough time to be able to implement as we go. And this is why a backend membership is a perfect fit for a course, because it provides people that safe, supported environment to help them in the implementation of what they've learned. Okay, so right off the bat, we've got to get clear on, is this going to be a front-end membership or is it going to be a back-end membership? Is it going to be a front-end membership that brings people into our world, that introduces people to who we are and what we do, and to introduce people to the subject matter? Or is it going to be a back-end membership that supports people in implementing what it is that we've learned, and or continues the supportive environment that we've created for people that are already familiar with us? Okay, you understand the difference there? And the key thing here is that a front-end membership typically is going to be a lower price point. A back-end membership typically is going to be a higher price point. Okay, so that is an important decision right off the bat, because it 100% impacts the next decision, which is going to influence the type of membership that you're going to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through 6 different types of memberships. And I'll give you a bunch of examples of how each of them show up in this world. And then that'll help give you clarity in terms of which track you want to run on. And as I go through them, you'll start to hear like, ooh, like characteristics of that I like, or ooh, that would probably apply to me and my business or my market. And so I want you to listen for those as we go through them, okay? And good to see everybody. Hello, gang. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. All right, so let's dive into it. So when you're thinking about the type of membership model, what I want you to first get clear on are, what are your goals for this membership? Who is the audience that you're looking to serve? And what role does this play in your business? So when it comes to your goals, like, again, I'll give you an example. Tiffany Alice and Jabril Agoro, they partnered together. They created a membership site. And the whole focus for them is to grow that membership. It is a front-end membership. But the key thing here and the distinction for them was they just wanted to put their entire focus on just this membership. They didn't have any back-end products, didn't have any back-end courses or programs or masterminds or other things. They didn't have any of that. And they didn't want that to be a focus. They just wanted the membership to be the focus. Okay. So they had unique goals around the number of members that they wanted to grow that membership to. Okay. Another example, okay, so that's an example of like the goals, getting clear around what is the goal for the business. And when I say that, like, the amazing thing, gang, is that so much is possible. So much is possible in such a relatively short period of time. I got 2 incredible messages this morning from people in our tribe community. One has become a dear friend. Actually, they both become dear friends. And they've both just finished launches for their memberships. And the amazing part is one of them, she has grown her membership. She had 19 members like a year ago, last March 2020. 19 members, okay? 19. And in a 1-year period of time, she's grown that membership to more than 2,000 plus members. It is generating over $113,000 a month. A month. Crazy, right? And what was fascinating was she sent me some messages this morning, and she was giving me, the debrief of like what's going on and what's happening. And there were some key characteristics that she shared that are fundamentals, okay? And I'm going to share them with you here. One of them, she said, she was very narrow in the focus of the membership. Very narrow in the focus of she was very specific in terms of who she served and the problem she solved. And that allowed her, allowed her to build a very targeted list. She didn't have a huge email. She didn't have any list for this new membership when she began. She didn't have any list. But over the year, she's built a list of just over 15,000 people, primarily using one list builder, okay? And but she has extraordinary conversions, right? So of the 15,000 people that she's built an email list of, as I said, she has more than 2,000 plus members. So that's extraordinary conversion rates. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it shows what's possible when you get real clear on who it is that you serve and how it is that you help, right? Who is it you serve and how is it you help? So when we get clear about the needs of our audience, it makes everything so much faster and easier. Like everything happens so much faster and easier when you get clear about the needs of your audience. So you got to start with your goals. Like, what are your goals for, in terms of this membership? What are the needs of your audience? And then lastly, like, what is the vision for your business? Like, where does this membership fit in your business? As I mentioned earlier, like Tiffany and Jabril, their membership was the primary focus. It has been the primary focus of what it is that they do. I'll just take our membership as an example. It is not the primary front-end focus. It is the way, though, in which we serve our best clients and customers all year long. That's the focus of our membership. It is a back-end membership. So once you get clear on like the vision for the role that this membership plays in your business, you can get clear in terms of like, where your energy is going to flow. And I say that because that impacts what we're going to talk about next when we talk about the type of membership models. Okay. So 3 questions I want you to get clear on. Number 1, what are your goals for this membership? Number 2, what are the needs and wants of your audience? And number 3, what is the vision for your business? Okay. Well, like, where does this membership fit in that bigger vision for your business? Okay. So the reason I'm sharing that is because that then impacts the choice that you're going to make as far as the type of membership model. So let's go through. There are 6 main membership models. And as I said before, there are many, many different variations of these. There are many different types. These are the 6 primary types of membership models. Number 1, and the most common type of membership model, is a publisher model. Now, I called this a publisher model because it's very much like a magazine. If you think of like a traditional magazine, they publish like a new, let me see here. Okay, here we go. Like think of like a traditional magazine, right? So they publish like a new magazine every month. And in that magazine, they have different articles, They have different, common like editorials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But essentially, it's like a template each and every month. And what happens is that the team gets together and then they've got to fill in the blanks each and every month. But it's a process. It's a process. And so the publisher model is just like this. It's like an online magazine, so to speak. However, there are some distinct differences between a publisher membership and a magazine. A magazine is like a whole lot of stuff. A membership, we want to reduce the amount of things that we provide inside of the membership. And what I recommend is 4 primary pieces of content per month. You heard me right. 4 primary pieces of content per month. Because in a membership, what we want to do is we want to balance both learning time and implementation time. If we load people up with too much learning time, they get overwhelmed and they leave. So we have to strike that balance of learning time and implementation time. But a publisher model is where you're publishing regular content on a consistent basis. And typically it's done around 4 primary pieces of content. So when I launched a membership site with my business partner, Michael Hyatt, back in the day, we had 4 primary pieces of content. We had a masterclass, which was a lesson that was taught by Michael. We had a backstage pass, which was a behind the scenes look. It was like a 10 to 15 minute video exploring some behind the scenes aspects of how Michael did certain things in his business. We had in the beginning, a member makeover. So this was where members would submit their web page, and we would, or Michael and his eldest daughter, Megan, would critique it and give advice and so forth. And then we had what was the last component? A live Q&A, And those were the 4 that we started with. Now, the 4 you start with doesn't mean that that'll be the 4 that you end up with till the end of time, because a membership is always evolving. You got to remember that. But you do have to get going. That's most important of all. But that's an example of a publisher membership model. Susie Daphnis has a great membership called Her Business. It utilizes the publisher model. Another example of that is Rhonda Nelson. She has a membership site in the alternative medicine space. Same topic. It's a publisher model. She's publishing fresh new content on a regular basis. Okay. So model number 1 is a publisher model. Model number 2 is the UPS model. Now, the UPS model is something I coined because it's like you're delivering a package of content. Okay. And so this is where like a subscription box might come into play. This is where like the Dollar Shave Club might come into play as an example. But there are other digital examples of this as well. I think of Patty Palmer with her membership site, where she's delivering art lessons for art teachers each and every month. It's a package of content, right? So it's not so much that the teachers are learning, it's that the teachers are using that content. That's the distinct difference. It's less about learning, more about using the content. Our very own Sarah Williams, she's the queen of subscription boxes, right? Again, it's about delivering a package of content. So that's the difference with a UPS versus a publisher. UPS is very you're not necessarily teaching people things. It's more about providing a package of content that your members are using on a regular basis. And I've seen all kinds of great UPS memberships, whether it be templates and resources, whether it be subscription boxes, whether it be, lesson plans, as an example. There are all kinds. But essentially, the distinct difference is that people are using what you're delivering, and it's less about learning, more about using. Okay, that's the UPS model, where you're delivering a package of content. That package of content is typically delivered 1 time a month. It might be delivered, in different pieces if it's a digital membership. But think of it as you're delivering a package of content each month that your members are using. Third membership model. third type of membership is a coaching membership. And a coaching membership is really where you're guiding people and supporting people in implementing something, right? And this could be where you're supporting them in the implementation of materials that they've learned in a course from you. It might be where they're implementing, materials, where they're learning a skill over time. Could be playing the guitar, could be developing a better relationship, could be training their dog. It could be a whole wide variety of different things. I've seen so many people in our community effectively create coaching memberships where, again, they're walking people through a process of implementing and furthering their skills and or their abilities, right? So a coaching membership model is really much better suited as a back-end membership, because typically somebody's learned something in a course and now, let me just refocus. Whoop. There we go. So they've learned something in a course and now they're looking to implement it, right? A coaching model is really a great model for them. And we've seen a variety of examples, like my dear friend, Amy Porterfield. She has a membership site called Momentum, and it's specifically for people who have gone through her course. So she doesn't open it up to the whole, rest of the world. It's opened up to people who have gone through her course, and it supports people in implementing what they've learned in her course. My friend Laura Phillips over in the UK, she has a great membership called Launch and Thrive. Same thing, where she is supporting people in the implementation of what it is that they've learned. This is very similar to the model that we have in our business. We're supporting people in the implementation of what it is that we've taught in our course tribe. So it's a coaching model is really centered around helping support people in implementing. It's not, and this is a really important thing, it's not about loading people up with a whole bunch of new information. Like if you do that, people are never going to get to the point of actually implementing, right? They'll never get to that point. So it is very much pulling back on giving more and more and more content and increasing the level of support in and accountability in helping people put what they've learned into practice. Fourth type of membership is a community-based membership. This is where people are just paying to be around other people like them that have a shared interest, right? And this is what's so great about the internet, by the way. We live in the most amazing time because you can have the most quirky interests, and I guarantee you there are hundreds, if not thousands of people around the world who share the same interest, right? I couldn't help but smile this year because Courtney Lynn came into our world this year, and Courtney is in a market that I didn't even know existed. It's the pet influencer market. I didn't even know this was a thing. But long story short, Courtney set up an Instagram account for her dog because she wanted a way to be able to share the photos of her dog with the breeder. And long story short, her Instagram account blew up. And she realized that there was an opportunity to, start turning this into a business. And she started to get brand deals with different companies and so forth. And then she started having a whole bunch of other people who were setting up social media accounts for their pets, asking her, how did she grow this account to be so big? And before she knew it, she was getting all these questions. She did a founding member launch for her membership. She now has hundreds and hundreds of people in her membership learning how to grow pet influencer accounts. I didn't even know this was a thing, but this is my point. We live in an amazing world today whereby you can have an interest in virtually anything, and you're guaranteed to be able to find others who share the same interest. I grew up in a small town, right? Corn on one side, cows on the other type thing. I was out in the middle of nowhere. And I had an interest in growing a business and specifically growing it online. I was the only one, right? I was by myself alone in that interest. But now it doesn't matter where you live. as long as you have an interest, you can explore it and, find communities of other like-minded people who share the same passion, share the same interest. And so a community type membership is where you're bringing people who have that shared interest together. And it's not necessarily where you're teaching a bunch of stuff. It's really just about creating conversation and a place to be able to connect. So we see different types of community-based memberships in all kinds of different markets. I'll give you a couple examples. Like Tanel, who lives over in Estonia. He created a community-based membership that was for parents who were looking to be around other parents who were intentional in the way in which they were raising their kids. And what he found was that there just wasn't a community for parents to have those types of discussions in a safe place where he is in Estonia. And so he created it. And that became a safe community for parents who, wanted to have tough conversations about raising kids, but in a way where they weren't going to be judged, weren't going to be, critiqued or made fun of, et cetera, or looked down upon, but just had genuine questions. And, as a parent with, 2 young kids, I can really appreciate that, right? Because in today's world, if you voice a concern or voice an idea as it relates to parents, it's like people come out of the woodwork and everyone's got an opinion on what you should and shouldn't do. And it can feel daunting and overwhelming, so much to the point where you don't even want to say anything, right? Where what he has done is he's created this community where people can have those conversations in an open and safe environment. And so that's a great example of a community-based membership. The 5th type of membership is a modular or drip. And I think of this has very similar characteristics to a course, but the time frame is extended much, much longer. There are many examples of this. I think of Yuri Elkame, who's got a membership site that helps healthcare professionals. And he has curriculum where a piece of content is being sent out literally every single day for like 2.5 years. Now, the key is that you're not giving people a gigantic amount of content each and every day. It's short little chunks, bite-sized chunks that are easy to be able to consume and digest. But the great thing is that once he's got that curriculum set, he just keeps adding to it on the end. But when people come in, they all start on day 1. And day 1 gets unlocked, and then day 2, and then day 3, and then day 4, et cetera, et cetera. And it just continues on. So because he's got that set, when people join, that curriculum automatically goes out to his people, and he keeps on growing the membership and adding to the curriculum on the end. So that's like a modular drip. Another example is Anna Runyon has a very similar structure for her membership. It's called Class. And in a similar way, people come in, the content is dripped out to them over time. But unlike a course where it's usually over in a few weeks, this content is dripped out over months, if not years. So a much longer timeline in terms of how that curriculum is delivered to the students. And again, the key and the reason is because you do not want to load them up. If you load them up and overwhelm them, they're going to leave. So it's really, really important to manage the volume of content you give in that respect. And then the 6th and final type of membership is a combo. And what I mean by that is like it may have pieces of all of the models that we've talked about, or some of them. It may have pieces of the publisher model. It may have pieces of the UPS model. It may have pieces of the coaching model, or the community model, or the modular drip model. It may have components of any of those. Like I think of Casey Hope and her calligraphy membership. She provides content in a very similar way to a publisher membership, but she also sends a package of content to her members, much like a UPS membership. So she's got, components of a variety of them. And you 100% can do that. But here's the key thing. I want you to think about what's the primary focus of the membership. Once you get clear on the primary focus, it becomes the lead driver in how you shape that curriculum. So hopefully this has been helpful. really helping you get clear on the different types of memberships. And more specifically, going back to the high level, is this going to be a front-end membership or a back-end membership? Because that 100% influences the type of membership site that you're going to select. And from the 6 that we shared, there's the publisher, there's the UPS, there's the coaching, the community, the modular drip, and the combo model. Now, if you've got other questions about, what type of membership, what should I provide inside the membership? Is my market a good fit for a membership? First and foremost, I want to encourage you to come and join us on April 22nd, because one time a year, I host a free live workshop. And you can find out by going to tribeworkshop.com. It's all free, but I host this one time a year, and we're coming up on that date. It's April 22nd. So I would love for you to come and join us. And this is where we continue the conversation. And not only do we continue the conversation about the types of memberships, but we talk about, like, what do you actually provide inside of a membership? And, what is enough content? What is too much content? What type of content should you provide? And how do you market the membership? Like, how do you actually get people to come and join your membership? We're going to unpack all of that and so much more. It's all happening on April 22nd. So mark your calendar, go to tribeworkshop.com, come and join us, because we do this one time a year, and this is the time of the year that we are doing it. So it's going to be amazing. Last year, we had an incredible turnout, and there was so much energy. And not only that, but that produced an environment where people took what we were teaching, put it into practice, and launched their memberships during the free workshop. We had people who generated tens of thousands of dollars during the free workshop. That's what this environment is going to do, because we focus on specifics that you can put into practice right here, right now. It's all free. Go to tribeworkshop.com. Come and join us. It's going to be awesome. April 22nd. Make sure you mark it down on your calendar and tell everybody you know. All right, my friend, that's all for today. Hope you got value from the 6 different types of memberships. First, get clear on, is it a front end or a back end membership? Then we talked about the different types. There's the publisher model, there's the UPS model, the coaching model, the community, the modular drip, or the combo. Those are the 6 most common types of memberships. And hopefully that's given you some clarity on how to move forward. All right, my friends, it's been a gem. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.